And this is 36, the podcast. Podcast. 36, the podcast.
Fairbanks, North Star Borough, and the surrounding areas. How are you guys doing? My name is Tilden.
This is Jeff.
And I'm Brandon.
And this is 36th Podcast. Now, something new today that you might be noticing. Yes, you see us on screen. We're live, and we are in full effect right here at the HOODOO Brewery Studios. And our first official video podcast guest is no other than the reigning Miss USA Alaska, Brenna Schaake. She is the reigning Miss USA Alaska. Brenna, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be your first on-screen guest.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so before we get into the meat and potatoes, we always start with a taste test of today's cask poured here at HOODOO Brewery. Now, so it happens to be a Goza today, a sour. And Jeff and Brandon, they're going to actually partake today because I'm on a month-long cleanse, and I'm not going to be partaking in beer until the end of June. So, like I said, going back to how this podcast actually began, it began with us three sitting around this same table right here, just having discussions between ourselves and strangers or just regular customers. And we had a discussion one time, and we're like, hey, that would make a good podcast. And so here we are. Now, so it's called 36 the Podcast. 36 the Podcast. So 36 ounces of beer is what you could used to drink before they got their liquor license. That was the limit. But now you can drink much more than that, but we're going to keep it at 36. You don't necessarily have to drink 36 ounces of beer. You could drink 36 ounces of tap water. I'm doing
Hot water.
I'm doing hot water. I'm doing hot water today. They do have tap water, and they do have root beer as well. So you don't necessarily have to do
cider.
36 ounces of hot water. So they do have cider in a can, so you don't necessarily have to do 36 ounces of beer. And so I will be joining Miss Brenna, and we both have our hot water here, so enjoy. And so to all of you who do not partake of alcoholic beverages, here's a toast to you as well. So, but guys, what do you think about today's pour?
Tastes like a green apple.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of does. I thought it was supposed to be the watermelon one.
What is it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be watermelon.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so
Gotta go confirm.
I forgot to snap a picture of the ingredients today. So Jeff, he went to go get a picture of the ingredients, so he'll be right back.
It claims it's conditioned on watermelon, but it tastes like a green apple Jolly Rancher.
I agree with that.
Okay, all right. So, in their opinion, it tastes like a green apple Jolly Rancher.
There is supposed to be a green apple one at the end of the month.
Okay.
What if they got to mix it up?
Huh. Never know.
I don't know. We'll find out at the end of the month.
Exactly. Hey, so they have a release of what their goes is going to be, or what their cast is going to be?
Weekends are all gozes.
Oh, okay. All right, then, good deal. So, hopefully, I get to get in at least. No, I won't be able to get in, will I? Is it going to be all the month of June?
Yeah.
So nothing into July?
Okay, let's get the calendar out here.
Maybe looking at a few.
Okay. The last Saturday is the 28th of June.
Yeah.
You can have a cheat day.
Okay.
You have a cheat day.
Okay, so I can do a cheat day on the last Saturday of June. Okay, so that's my cheat
It's
day.
gonna make a difference.
All right. So, as we get ready to get into our interview, all right, Miss USA Alaska 2025, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, what inspired you to enter the world of pageantry, and what was your first competition like?
That's a great first question. So I didn't really think about pageantry as something I wanted to pursue until after high school, and honestly, I didn't do it until after college. I didn't do very many before I won, so I'm very grateful for that. But my first pageant was a whirlwind. I had no idea what I was doing. I probably did not train as hard as I should have. I didn't practice my interview as most people do. So I learned a lot. It was a lot of trial and error my first year. And after going through it, I decided that it was something I wanted to pursue more. And I invested my time and my resources and got the right people on my team to help me.
Okay.
Specifically a coach who knew what he was doing because
Okay.
he coached that year's winner. And then just kind of went from there. And actually it blossomed into more than just a coaching relationship with my friend Troy. He's now my director and a very good friend of mine. We've actually traveled the world together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've had a really beautiful friendship grow out of it. As most pageant relationships work, I've met people from all across the state and now all across the world.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay.
Okay. So, growing up in Alaska, how has your environment shaped who you are today, especially as a public figure?
Oh, that's another good question. So I would say growing up in Alaska really helped ground me, and I think that's important. And I think a lot of Alaskans use that as their first kind of descriptive word, but it grounded me. It made me more resilient and more resourceful. So I grew up going to Tok with my parents, exploring all of Alaska, going to Haines and Skagway and Juneau. I actually have not been farther than Livengood, so it's on my bucket list to go to Dead Horse and Utqiagvik. But exploring Alaska really helped shape who I was because you meet so many unique people with unique backgrounds. And then, of course, all the other little experiences you have here in the Golden Heart City, right? Like going down to the Yukon Quest and freezing your toes off on the Chena River, raising chickens at 20 below, watching the Northern Lights. But it teaches you really to be, I think, a good human, and I think that's really important. And hopefully I bring a little bit of that with me in my personal and professional careers.
Okay.
Right on. So, what was the most challenging part of preparing for Miss USA, and how did you overcome it?
I would probably say time management. So I know Brandon from work, so he knows that I am all over the place all the time. So balancing my schedule was really difficult. I had to really pick and choose things that filled my cup and that were going to serve me or help me in my full-time job as well. And learning how to say no. That was probably the biggest thing. I am a people pleaser, and I fully admit that. And it's something I'm working on. But I really had to select what was important, and I couldn't do it all. And that's something I really struggled with.
You, it was 2024?
Yes. Yep.
Was that the first time you did that?
No, so my very first pageant was in, I want to say 2018. I've only done, yes, yeah. And then I did another system with Troy to kind of feel out what a different pageant system would be like, but I've only done the USA system 4 times, so you can only win once. And so now that I missed last USA, I can't compete again in the system. I'll probably retire after this one because this is kind of one of the big league pageants.
Sure.
They say that, you're more likely to have a son playing the Super Bowl than you are to have a daughter that goes to Miss USA because of the odds. And so it's something I'm very grateful to have experienced, but it's also a lot. It takes over a lot of your life in a positive way.
Yeah.
But it's a big commitment, and so maybe I'll retire after this stuff.
Okay, so what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about pageants and the pageant contests?
That we're all the same. That we're all this cookie cutter mold. We're all 5'6", blonde. Love the movie Legally Blonde. All we all do. But I really think people in pageantry are trying to break the mold. I was able to compete with women that are mothers, scientists, public policy advocates, businesswomen, entrepreneurs, the list goes on and on. And so we're all so unique, and I think pageantry helps elevate that and shows people in their element and what makes them them, whether that's cultural or professional or just like a personal missions that drive them. So I think that's a huge misconception. We're all the same. We only care about the looks of the pageantry, personality, but it's really about service and commitment to yourself and the community.
Okay, now, so so when did you first get involved with being in pageants?
I'm pretty sure it's 2018 because I did one, and I ended up doing a couple. And in the Miss USA system, historically, you age out at 27. And so I did them up until I was 27. Then I had to take a year off, and I just volunteered in the background. And actually, that year after that, they lifted age restrictions. So I came back, and it was the year that I won my title, was when I was 30. So I'm technically the oldest Miss Alaska USA currently. But in the USA system, Miss Arizona, the current one, she just turned 42, and she's the oldest USA delegate.
Okay, all right. Good deal.
Okay, so you've used your platform to advocate for breast cancer detection centers.
Yes.
What motivated you to focus on that cause?
So it's actually very personal to me. So I've had friends and family impacted by breast cancer, as I'm sure we can all say. My aunts have had it. My current boss, Meadow Rydell, actually just finished her bout with cancer about a year ago. But what made me select it as my platform for my current pageantry year was my good friend Laura was diagnosed at age 29, which is very unusual. It wasn't the typical, you go in at the age of 40, they find a lump. It's, the right time, the right place. She actually went through a really tough breast cancer bout. She saw 4 different doctors who couldn't confirm that she had breast cancer. She did 2 ultrasounds, 2 MRIs, and she finally met with a doctor that did a biopsy, and she really had to plead with them to do this biopsy because she knew something was off, and it came back positive. So it just shows that you should really listen to your body. You should probably push back a little bit when people say, well, this tool says it's not positive, but let's dig a little deeper. And so hearing her story at age 29, having a high-risk background really spoke to me, and so I wanted to make sure we could elevate her story. And she actually just had her first child this last year, and so it's really a journey for her.
Nice. Very nice. Okay.
Sorry, I lost my list for a second. If you could change one thing in the pageant industry, what would it be and why?
Ooh, if I could change one thing in the pageant industry, it would be our focus on our community platforms. So for myself, of course, that's breast cancer. I think a lot of women get into pageantry because it's fun, it's very flashy, you get to do a lot of cool experiences, but I would love to see us open up a new category where we have to really explain what we're passionate about, whether that is service or our platform that we're there to elevate. Most pageant models are set up so that there's an interview portion, an evening out portion, and a social portion. And some have a talent as well. But I'd like to see that expanded where interview is even more important, or have a separate interview where you're only talking about your advocacy platform. I think that'd be super important. That's the whole reason I got into pageantry, was for this platform to elevate and catapult my voice. And so I think that would be a beautiful thing to see.
Very nice. Okay, so Brenda, you and I, so we are involved with the Chamber of Commerce. I see you on there's this one TV commercial I see you on where you're advocating.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so what's that one TV commercial?
I'm guessing it's probably for the May No Child Go Hungry campaign.
Exactly. Okay,
yes.
So I see you on TV. I see you around at the Chamber of Commerce meetings. You work at Ken Ross.
I do.
You're also Miss USA Alaska. My next question is, how do you balance the demands of pageant life with your personal life, your career, and self-care?
Well, I will admit it is very hard, and I struggle with it, like I'm sure most people do. But it's about being consistent and calling out what's important to you. I'm very fortunate to work for Ken Ross. Ken Ross is a great company. They fully support me as Miss Alaska. And my role with them in corporate social responsibility, or external affairs, as most people know my title as, really complements my Miss Alaska role. So I'm able to do things like the Spin for a Cause Fight fundraiser, or Golden Days as Miss Alaska and as my profession.
Yes.
And so being able to marry those two is very convenient for me, of course.
Yes.
But also just kind of guarding my time is important. It's very hard for me, like I said earlier, to say no to things, whether that's volunteering or just being active in the community, being there, the people person is spraying the nose.
Oh, yes.
So the balance can be hard, and I do struggle with burnout sometimes, but I'm getting better at it.
Gotcha.
I think.
Gotcha. Okay, not a problem.
Okay, so just make sure that. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
This is always such a hard question because, as we know, the world changes so rapidly. I mean, none of us saw COVID coming, right?
It's the most feared interview question in every job interview ever.
It is, because you have these grand plans. And you're like, oh, I'm going to be president or governor. No, I'm not running for either, so don't worry about that. I think whatever I'm doing, and hopefully that's still with Kinross because I love my job there, is going to be at the intersection of advocacy and public commitment. So being active in my community and, of course, advocating for women, for resource development, for Alaska, just kind of being an active member of society. I think it'll still be in mining. I have a good feeling that I will still be in resource development.
Okay.
Probably retired in Alaska. And I do hope to coach the future of Miss Alaska's because it's a big job. It's a second full-time job.
Gotcha. All right.
So what's something surprising about you that most people wouldn't guess by seeing you on stage?
We talked about it a little bit, but I'm a huge mining nerd. So I work in the resource development industry, and I can talk to you about reclamation strategy, gold pan, or give you a safety briefing all before noon. The other thing that I always like to call out is because I am such a mining nerd, my state costume is actually mining themed. And so the narrative that I had them read on TV as I'm coming out with my big mining costume on talked about reclamation, talked about Alaska, really talked about how we do it right here with our responsible resource development. The other thing most people don't know is that I am a beekeeper.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I didn't even.
You could have used her for the Mosquito Authority one.
Yes, I know. I heard that Darren was a beekeeper too, and I thought that was so cool. I just started about a year ago, so this is my second year doing bees. It's been kind of a whirlwind and a really rewarding challenge at the same time. I did it after coming back from a ESG course that I took at the Colorado School of Mines, where we walked into this little business in downtown Golden that was all bee themed. They had honeycomb there, they had all the fun stuff for your house and cooking books, everything you need to be a bee enthusiast. And I thought, well, why can't I do bees in Alaska? And better yet, why can't I do a couple hives of the mine to show that bees and mining could coexist? So I started a couple of beehives at my house with the help of some of my mining friends. There's actually 10 of us from the mine that work on it together.
Yeah.
We have a little nickname that I made called the Bee Task Force.
Yeah.
And we're made up of people from IT, security, external affairs, and continuous improvement. So a very diverse little group, but we started them last year. We got over 100 ounces of honey, and then we gave it away at the employee Christmas kind of celebration, and then we gave it to a few other key players that helped us get all the approvals we did.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. We presented the idea to some regulators to see what they thought of it. They were actually very excited. So this last year when we gave them an update about our reclamation activities, we got to let them taste test it. So it was kind of a fun way to round out the experience. And now we're doing another hive.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the pause button real quick. All right, Brenna, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Not a problem. Okay, so we have one final question for our formal portion of the podcast.
Let's hear it.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, so if you could trade places with any other contestant or celebrity for a day, who would it be and what would you do?
You can't laugh at this. I feel like Brandon's going to be like, oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I'm just standing here curious.
Okay. Well, there is probably a whole list of people I could mention, but I would say Reese Witherspoon, just because she's such an advocate and such a powerhouse. But I'd love to trade places with her for a day, get out on set, and then pitch a documentary about Alaska trailblazing women. I think there's so many individuals here that are worthy of being noted that it would be really fun to partner with her to elevate them. And of course, everyone loves Reese Witherspoon, right? Who doesn't? She's like a golden American sweetheart.
Okay, all right, good deal. You guys got any more questions?
That's it for that section, I think.
Okay, all right, then so we're going to take a little break real quick, and we're going to pause. And when we come back, we're going to do what we call a freestyle or free flow. And so that's where during the interview, if we have questions that popped into our head additionally, that's what we're going to ask. Now, these are totally unscripted.
Yep.
Because they come to us unscripted, so they're going to come to you unscripted as well. So, you guys stay tuned. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. Hold on. All right, so welcome back, everybody. If you're still with us, thank you for joining us today with our special guest, Miss USA Alaska, Brenna Schaake. Thank you once again for joining us. Okay, so this portion right here, we're going to call this our free flow. All right, so we're just going to just spit out some questions that came up randomly as we were interviewing you. So I'm going to lead it off. So as far as what advice would you give to young ladies or little girls who would like to get into the world of pageantry and follow in your footsteps?
I would say jump in, but research what you need to do. So jump in, head first, totally immerse yourself. So when I started doing it, I was researching things that were passionate to me. I wanted to know all the background info, kind of like how you know so much about past war reenactments and military. I wanted to know it all because I want to be able to talk about it and advocate for it and turn other people's interest towards it. So I'd say jump in, get your hands dirty, and commit. That was the biggest part, was like committing.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. So you weren't like 5 or 6 when you first. So you were a little older.
Yes, yeah. So I know in like the southern states, some of these young women, see these role models that are Miss Tennessee, Miss Arkansas, and so they're exposed to that very early on. And they have pageants in schools down there. They have the state fair, and up here in Alaska, as we know, we don't have that. It's very different.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I didn't really get turned on to it until I was in high school, and I started kind of watching it a little bit, and then following on social media and seeing, this isn't just about looking pretty. It's about being an empowered woman that talks about things that are passionate to me and helping lift up others' voices. Being an active part of the community. So I didn't even start doing pageants until after college, and I think a little bit of that was fear, because nobody wants to get up in front of lots of people in a swimsuit.
Right.
And it's intimidating. You have to be able to interview well, which luckily my profession is just kind of something that I have been trained to do, being in public relations. But I really had to fully commit, which is why I say jump in, commit to it, but know what you're getting to.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
You feel like that gave you an advantage starting a little later instead of coming brought up into it?
I think so.
Head going into the career. Well, hobby. Is it a hobby or is it a career?
For some women, it is a career, and they can make it into a career. A lot of women actually, once they win, they use this as a catalyst to help get the media jobs, or they want to go in modeling or something like that. Obviously, if I did that, it would probably be more media-based because I'm more focused on the intellectual part of it. Yes, I would say it helped starting later because I could research better. I was more well-rounded. I had all this volunteer service, and I had a resume, right, and more life experience. So I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got another one. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I asked that one off.
I mean, I'm looking at this.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's like, I need a refill.
So, you were crowned in July, June 2024?
June 1st of 2024.
June 1st, 2024. Yes. So you hold that crown until 2025?
Yep, and I'll be giving it to the next woman in early August.
Okay. So during that year, are there obligations or expectations of you to duties to fulfill throughout that year?
Yep.
And what would those be
So it depends. So for me, I have sponsorship duties that I have to fulfill. So making sure that I attend certain things on behalf of a company that might sponsor me or an organization, or for me, for my advocacy platform, making sure that I'm aligning with BCDC or the Breast Cancer Detection Center of Alaska, and making sure that I'm showing up at their events, I'm volunteering, I'm helping push out things that are going to help them reach more women, people across the state of Alaska, and then also making sure I'm active in the community, seeking out new things, not only for myself to try, like going down to Denali 2 weekends ago for Memorial Day and doing that Harley Davidson meet in the middle thing.
Right.
Totally out of my comfort zone, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't ride a Harley, I don't know anything about motorcycles, but I'll come down and serve you barbecue as a fundraiser. So yeah, showing up, making sure that pageantry is seen as a positive way is probably one of those commitments things that people don't talk about and just being really active. Because it's not about showing up for photo shoots, it's showing up
And actually,
having a
provide
voice.
to the community.
Exactly, yeah.
And knowing you is probably not an obligation. It was like
I love it.
enjoying it.
Yeah. I'm like, whether I would be doing it for work or on my personal time, I'd probably be there anyways.
Sure.
So sometimes I tell people when you're like, well, your job's really demanding, not just in this Alaska, but as the Kinross apprenticeship. I say, well, I feel like you're here anyways, but I just get paid to do it now, which is nice.
Okay, now so as far as your commitment, so once your commitment with Miss USA Alaska ends, what does that? So does your commitment with the Breast Cancer Detection Center end as well, or are you gonna keep on going with that?
No, so I'd say it doesn't end. So I've actually signed on to be a chairwoman for the Miss Alaska USA organization so that I can help coach and mentor future women in pageantry in the next year as well. And the cool thing is that in this system, you're paired with a team as well. So when I won, there was a team winner as two. Her name is Today. She goes by Pebbles. She lives in Anchorage, and she's such a badass. She inspires me. She just graduated high school. But she graduated not only high school, but the middle college, and she has her associate's degree.
Okay.
So she was Miss Teen Alaska USA, and she's a basketball player who just signed on to a university in the lower 48.
Oh, wow.
Very competitive.
Yeah.
Also going to college, also finishing her high school diploma. She's
Oh, wow.
a rock star. But not, so I will help coach that. I will make sure that I'm still very involved in Breast Cancer Detection Center Alaska because Laura, my boss Meadow, and other friends that have been active. So very active still.
Right. Okay. Now, okay. So tell us about you. Where? So what was your childhood like?
I would say I had a very wild and fun childhood.
Okay.
So I'm born and raised in Alaska, which I think is really important.
Okay. So where are you from?
I'm from here. So
You're from Fairbanks.
Yep. My
Okay.
parents are both from warm states, so I like to tease them about that. My mom is from Arizona. My dad is from Kansas. They both moved here separately. My mom was in the Navy and then the Air Force, which is what brought her to Anchorage. And then my dad was the first Army Corps of Engineers park ranger at the Moose Creek Flood Control Project. So he managed that for 20 plus years, and my godparents actually set them up. So I was born in Anchorage, which I always say, don't hold that against me. But then they moved me up here with them to Fairbanks, where I did K through 12, and then I ended up going out of state for college, but I came back because I had a full-time job offer here out of college.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I was going to ask which was more in college.
Where did I go to college?
Yeah.
So I went to the University of Idaho in Moscow. Really cute, traditional little town. Lots of old restaurants.
I know some people from around that area. So.
Yeah, a lot of Alaskans go to school there, so I was like being at home. Although not home in the sense of there were mountains there, because they have the rolling hills called the Blues, so lots of wheat and cows, which I was not used to. But it was very homey. They had a mining college, a lot of traditions, a lot of outdoorsmen. Yeah, I love going to school there. If I didn't live in Alaska, I would probably live in Idaho.
Okay, so there are those reality shows out there, right, that deal with pageants and all the behind the scenes stuff that goes on. Do you have any of those crazy pageantry moments that you could share?
Ooh, I mean, I think TV always likes to sensationalize things so that they get viewers, right? I was in, journalism and mass media school. I get it.
Right.
I don't think I have any that are similar to TV experiences, but there are weird things that we do in pageantry that people would be like, oh, that's odd. Like, you have to glue down your swimsuit when you're performing, or there's certain tricks and tips that you have to fit in your head, but nothing like sabotage,
Right.
nothing crazy like that.
Right. Okay.
We do meet some really inspirational people, right? Like you meet people that are the first in their career to do XYZ, or meeting moms, or competing for the first time. I met a girl, and actually her state costume was tied back to her profession. She was from Arkansas, Miss Arkansas USA, and she worked for Walmart. And so her state costume was a Walmart ball gown. That was so funny. But she works in like their headquarters and has this really interesting job, which you never think of when you think of like corporate America. So you meet a lot of really cool people. Miss New York is an engineer, but she works in biotech.
Yeah.
The kid's smart, and so I love being able to shout them out and really kind of shine a light on that.
Yeah.
And if anything, that would be the model story. Be like, oh yes, she's beautiful, she's a model. did you also know that she's a cutting edge engineer who can do, X, Y, Z and run circles around you on the math table? So, those
wow.
things.
Okay, now, so what is your travel commitment? Like, how often are you on the road in support of Miss USA Alaska? Like how often? Like once a week, two times a month? What's it like?
It depends. And I always say, it is what you make it. And so I am very involved. I like to travel a lot, so I always say yes. I'm in Anchorage at least once a month. I'll just do like a day trip really quick, or we'll drive down for a weekend to do an event down there. I go to Togue. My title has taken me to England. I got to judge an international pageant over there, and that was really rewarding.
Okay.
So I've been all over. And then the Lower 48, right? You go down to Miss USA. That was in Los Angeles and Hollywood. I've been to Tennessee. I'm hoping to go to Texas here in the next month or so, and then back to LA. But you just have to say yes to opportunity,
right.
But then also fit that into your schedule, which can be a challenge. And I use a lot of air miles, I will say that. And I'm very fortunate to have good sponsors and help as well. But I do fund a lot of my own travel just because I want to be present and I want to be there to commit and give to the cause.
Yes.
And people ask me, I think you might have asked me at Chamber actually, do people pay you to do things? And it's like, if someone's going to pay me, that money's going to go back to a different cause. So I usually just say, no, I go and I show up as Miss Alaska. It's a free thing. I'm there as a public figure, I'm there as an advocate, and as a diplomat for Alaska, especially when I'm abroad or Lower 48.
Right. Okay.
So to segue a little bit away from the pageant stuff, you kind of talked about how your work and your pageant are a little cohesive, so to say. And I know you had kind of spoke before this, how you had done some stuff at the last fights, trying to promote some extra work. I know Ken Ross is very involved in a lot of these fair days in the community. This responsibility goes, right?
Yep, Viaducts, Ice Dogs, Golden Days.
You play a big role in a lot of that type of stuff too.
I do, yep. So I'm the External Affairs Superintendent as of like a month ago. Very excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I work on the community relations team, but we also do things like Indigenous relations, government relations, comms, marketing. So we're very involved in that. So our team heads up the community investment committee that reviews all the applications that come in for donations or public outreach. I'm really excited that we're the Midnight Sun sponsor this year. So we're like the title sponsor for that. Still have a booth and have some fun giveaways. But yeah, very active in that. And then sometimes I'll tag on just Alaska stuff at the same time, but usually when they're hands-on, talking about mining, helping promote jobs. The Solidus and Rock fights was a unique opportunity. So Meadow, my boss, actually, we were brainstorming just about a week ago, trying to figure out how do we reach different demographics at Fairbanks. Because if I'm a mechanic, I'm probably not going to have a LinkedIn, right? I am more hands-on. It's a word-of-mouth kind of industry. And so we made those flyers, and I called it Melinda. You guys have interviewed before, and we did a little collaboration to try to push out that opportunity. Because we want to hire people, we want to get people good jobs, and they want to stay local, right? If you don't have to leave your community, that's a win.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, now, so Ken Ross, is that your career, or is that just for now?
I think it's my career. So
Okay.
I like to joke about the 5-year question that you guys asked earlier. For me, I'm at a point in my life where I'm kind of at a crossroads, right? I have achieved a lot of goals that I've set for myself in a very short amount of time, very early on in life. The Kid Ross job is kind of like the end of your job, and I didn't realize that I would be getting that opportunity so fast in my career.
Right.
Because I came back from college, worked at the Visitors Bureau and Convention Center, which is now rebranded as Explore Fairbanks.
Okay.
And then went over and worked for Chamber, their sister organization, and that's where I got the call from Ken Ross. So very early on working for them, it's been kind of a dream. I've been able to grow personally and professionally. And then winning the Miss Alaska title at the same time. It's like all these major milestones have kind of culminated together. And now I'm like, what do I do next? What now?
Right.
What do you mean in 5 years? I've got my goals now. Self-reflection I need to do, I think, to kind of figure out the next step. Somebody recently asked me, like, what do you want from life? What do you want to do? What are your goals and how can I support them? And I was kind of taken aback. I was like, well, I don't really know. I love what I'm doing right now. I love what I'm supporting. But recently, I have come to the conclusion that I think it would be really rewarding to work at a foundation, kind of like the Rasmussen Foundation, or start one here in Fairbanks.
Okay.
And have that be like my family's legacy, or a legacy I can help contribute to.
Right.
Just need to win the lottery first, so I have full money to draw on.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So, Jeff, you good to go?
Yeah. I can.
Brandon, you good to go?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. So I have one more question,
Okay.
and this is how we end it with all of our guests. Are
Okay.
you ready?
Sure.
What is your why?
What is my why? My why for, is there more context? Why for showing up?
Stuff.
Why I'm passionate?
Yes,
Why?
just why do you do, and what inspired you, and what's going to keep you going, and what's your why?
What a loaded question. Oh my god.
Right.
After I was just like, the Grace Foundation.
Very good question.
These basic things.
It's as open as we can make it.
I love it. I think my why is showing up for people and being a voice for the voiceless, and creating bonds that can help benefit our community and society. So whether that is helping connect someone with resources or being a friend to someone in a time of need, I think being an advocate and advocacy is my why. Being a change maker, a friendly face, a person that people can rely on, someone that can be seen as helpful. I think that's my why.
Got you. Okay, so on that note, my name is Tilden.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Alaska USA Brenna Schaake.
And this was 36 the podcast, and we are out.
Podcast 36.